Hello, my name is Andrei Kulikov, and in this video I'd like to show two things. The first is how to make a DynamoDB table with some items, and the second is how to use Athena and S3 bucket. So in the previous video I load some data using Kinesis agent to S3 bucket. How does it look? This data, it is information where the main parameters or columns are identity ID and the event label 0 or 1. It is fraud or not. So I would like to make a DynamoDB using CLI with the following parameters. I shall use an entity ID as a partition key and event label as a sort key. To do this, I have to use the following command. One second. So here the command consists of creating a table named fraud, creating a partition some items, entity ID and events label. I'll add some new items to it later, and the main thing is a partition key as with a key-type hash and an event label key-type range. So I use the cheapest RCU and WCU one. So here it is, the result. Here I see that appeared a new table with entity ID and event label keys. Capacity, as for capacity mode, it is a very important thing. The price of your services depends on it, and there is a simple calculator that can show you how much capacity you will have and how much you will pay. So there are three types of read consistency and three types eventually consistent is the cheapest and the transactional is the most expensive. And as for WCU, standard and transactional. For example, I want to yes, and RCU is used for the size of RCU is maximum 4 kilobytes and WCU is 1 kilobyte. So, for example, I want to send the data with this size with the following speed, yes. And so in this eventually consistent type, I have to use 5 RCUs and 40 WCUs. It is a very important thing in a developer associate exam. So as for the table, we have a table. We have the items, the Why do I have? Because I suppose there it is something old. So I want to add some items. What do we have to do? I have to do? I have to use. I have to use some code like this. So I want to add two items with two event ID with event ID, event label, entity ID, and event timestamp. And now I have only uh, entity ID and event label. So I have to do the following command. Sorry. Um, so this command, nothing complex, and I'll see that run that two items will be written, and it's good. It works, but you see my pro problem maybe. Um, I have to transform this data into this data. For that, I have to use a lambda function or some other services. And a better way to use data from S3 is using Athena. So Athena, I have to attach an S3 bucket to it as a database, make some query and see the results. So let's create it. S3 bucket data, fraud, create data, yes, also fraud, okay. Browse S3. I have special folder in my buckets where I have only one file, not to use all of them, because it can costs me money. So choose data format JSON, and that is all, I suppose, maybe. Okay, it's an old. Yes, and I have to add some columns, so it it is. I have a special special data for that. These are the columns of my JSON file uh, with all main information. So there is a thing like bulk add columns. So I put it here, add column type. I can change it later now, and then I push create table. Table is fraud 1, and yes, so I've got a table and make a preview of it, and a miracle happened. I see my data, JSON data in a table view with a possibility to make some queries in SQL. It's very cool, and it can be widely used in data analytics. So that's all for today. I'll put some links in my description. Thank you very much. Bye.